More pickings from the street, not as many as before, but some potentially useful. Here's a telephone answering machine. It's tapeless with a digital voice recorder chip likely in it. It's a Telstra M450. We'll take a look inside later on. Electric microphone just there, always useful for little transmitters. And the ubiquitous 7805 voltage regulator. We've got a 9-volt battery and a awkward power adapter. We'll see if we can get any sounds out of this answering machine.
Answer on. Calls will be answered after 6 rings. Answer off. Voicemail box 1. You have no messages. You have no messages. Answer on. Your outgoing message is, hello, your call cannot be taken at the moment, so please leave your message after the tone. Please speak after the tone. To end recording, release the button.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You have one message. Message 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Saturday, 12:02 p.m. End of messages.
It seems to be glued in fairly tightly. So I've got no idea how you might get this open. Sometimes screws to these are hidden underneath things, so you might need to get a screwdriver, leverage off the nameplate for the on-off. There might be a screw under, but then you've probably damaged it, so you might not be able to put it back together in original condition. But you could potentially build something else into it, like a wireless microphone. Moving right along, just a length of fishing line. I got it more for the reel than for the line, but a reel of this size would be enough to wrap an HF dipole around, so store it nice and compact for portable QRP. This is not really that old, but there are some old advertisements on the back. We have here 2 panels of LEDs. This is what happens when you plug the LED panel in. An array of red and blue LEDs. No settings though, so I think you're just stuck to these colours. But you might hang them up and use them in a party. A great brand Walkie Talkie AM radio. It looks like a kid's toy with a Morse key. Even got a manufacturing date, August 1978, at about the height of the CB boom. Quite a nice solid unit. Main thing is the telescopic antenna is missing, but that doesn't matter. We've got plenty from other finds, so we'll put one in and give this a test.
Hard to fall away. Me, the second, Tajavado third, the others couldn't. His a new home next year at a...
Here's the inside of the walkie-talkie, just like any other cheap walkie-talkie, except for the ferrite rod and the variable capacitor for AM radio reception. A thing particularly notable, and you should be able to read it, is the crystal, 27.125. That is actually a CB radio channel on 27 MHz. So you could actually talk to a regular CB from this transceiver. Whereas some radios that were a bit later, at least here in Australia, had a crystal for 27.145. Everyone who owned those radios didn't particularly like it because it meant that you couldn't talk to other CB radios. You could only talk to other kids' walkie-talkies. So the slightly earlier model of Walkie Talkie was better in that regard. And since you could talk to base and mobile CB radios, you could get much more range with this transceiver. We'll do a range test a bit later on, after I've fixed up the antenna. I found the mounting post had come adrift, so just waiting for the glue to set, and then I will screw the antenna connection back up. Just noticed that apparently in series with the antenna is a loading coil. When I get this thing going, it might be interesting to double check that, maybe even connect the antenna to an alternative variable loading coil and vary the inductance to verify that it is of the right value that gives most range. Just having a look at the transmitter, it is fairly tightly packed around the crystal, 27125. You might just be able to read the markings on it. It's a BF494. Just a 1 transistor transmitter. The audio amplifier around this part of the circuit does double duty, both as the transmitter modulator and also as the audio amp for the transistor radio and super regen receiver. If you wanted to make an improvement, possibly something that you would do in a next model up, you'd have a crystal controlled receiver, a converter stage, and be using the same IF stage and the same detector stage as the AM broadcast radio. But that would greatly increase the cost, particularly with the extra crystal required for receive. This is actually quite a good AM receiver. I'm hearing a country station on 531 kilohertz.
So sing along, forever classic, 3GG.
Here's proof the Walkie Talkie is using a super regen receiver. I've turned it off. Now I'll turn it on. You can hear the hiss from the super regen receiver.
Just doing a range check, just in front of the house, just in front of the house. Okay, in front of next door, in front of next door. Close talking the microphone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just cross the road. About 100, maybe 200 metres away. About 200 metres away. About 200 metres distant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, testing, about 250 metres, maybe 300 metres, 250 metres distant, approximately 300 metres distant, 300 metres distant, 300 metres distant, just crossing the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in front of the church, about 350 to 400 metres, 350 to 400 metres. Just crossing the road again, approaching the corner, right on the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right at the end of the street,